Life inside Mitsuba Manor is a far cry from what Corban knew on the road. However, for him, this comfort is not just the final destination, but a staging ground. In the south, as an aging governor nears his end, Corban has already positioned himself to be next in line. But as he carves out a future for his children in this land, he faces a challenge no blade can parry. The Ritsuryo system is a web of laws and bureaucracy more complex than any battlefield. To rule Japan, he must learn to master this system before it masters him. The Irish Ronin has finally found his footing. Now, he's going to break the mold. And welcome back to our Irish Ronin series, where Corban, the Wolffather of the Mitsuba family, is 2 years off of celebrating his 50th birthday, and he has achieved a hell of a lot since arriving in Japan with nothing but the shield on his back at 19 years of age. In the previous episode, our primary focus was on building up Mitsuba Manor, which we have managed to do quite decently. We have a family archive now, a personal workshop, a large mansion, as well as scattered rice plots. We will be continuing to upgrade Mitsuba Manor as we progress today. However, that is not all we have planned for today. We are also still currently waiting for Kikuchi Yoshitada here to die. He is 99 years of age. Corban has positioned himself as the heir to the actual Kuni of Chikuzen to become its next governor, and all we are waiting for is for Yoshitoda to gracefully pass on. When that happens, we will gain control of this Kuni as a governorship with many of its actual special buildings, with Hakata Port, as well as the Daizafu office, not to mention its other built-up areas as well. When that happens, we will then become a governor. That will take us to 1 out of 2 of our domain holdings. We will then simultaneously try to gain control of a second, while also positioning our heir, Mitsuba Kaito, up for success. Speaking of heirs, we also want to actually start taking a bit more of an interest in our other children here to see if we could maybe get some strategic alliances formed. We have to consider there not only what houses people are from, but also the house block that they belong to. We are currently a member of the Yamato block. The aspiration for this block is service, which we are aligned on. We managed to actually get the ruling region to essentially pay us some bonuses in order to align on that with him, which is very positive. The main concern here, however, is that as we continue to empower this block and gain that cohesion up, it does give them the ability to actually restore a ceremonial monarch faction. I'm not entirely sure how that will work with the Yamato family, considering they are both the ceremonial house as well as the ruling regent house. Maybe it would benefit them, maybe it wouldn't, not entirely sure. Maybe it would end up being more of like a feudal monarchy if they were to revert it that way, as opposed to what we have right now, which honestly probably would not be good for us. I'd much rather play this political game, but so far, in terms of playing the political game, we have managed to not only survive, but at least position ourselves for success. We have also seen our actual noble families ranking rise from down in like the low 70s up to about 33. Now, this will push and pull pretty aggressively among the lower ranks, but if we can actually start to get some governorships inside of our house, that will be our primary goal for today and the immediate future. The other slightly sad realization that we must come to is that some of our most loyal followers and friends, such as Muniori and Shikanaga, are now actually in their 60s and not in the best of health. They have served us loyally throughout their lives. I would love to reward them with some land or something. It doesn't seem like we will be able to do that. However, they will continue to serve on our council for the rest of their lives, as well as obviously being given as many honors as possible that can go to our most loyal knights. There isn't a huge amount else we can do with our council at the moment, seeing as though we don't currently actually have a governorship, but hopefully that will change soon. Taking a brief moment to look at our actual heir, Mitsuba Kaito here. He is just 8 years of age. He is in the intrigue focus, which, to be honest, I can't remember if we actually chose that for him or not. But either way, that should actually work pretty decently with what we're going into. So far, he is looking to be the opposite of his father, going deep on intrigue and diplomacy, but pretty much useless when it comes to martial. We do want to keep a very close eye on Kaito here, though. Once we become a governor, we want to make sure that we can actually sort of educate him in governorship, as well as later on possibly doing a martial drill as well, see if we can get a commander trait onto him. What I'm also going to do today is I'm actually going to start a scheme on myself in an attempt to increase our investment capacity. I will do a balanced arrangement here. We will auto invite agents and see if we can the intermediary is going to be the actual ruling regent himself. That should help quite a lot to expand our power base. Is that just because you like us? I mean, that's pretty good. You could probably just sort of make this happen for us, to be honest with you. I mean, looking at this too, it's very possible we could even just with enough influence actually have him give us a governorship, but I still think I'd rather gain this first one I've lined up for myself and then maybe do this to attain a second. If possible, maybe even a second one close by to try and consolidate our power a bit. In terms of the ruling region, the relationship is a little bit interesting at the moment. He doesn't dislike us. We're at plus 50 at the moment, which we will happily take, but we also have favors on each other. I can't remember exactly why he has one on me, but I know that I have one on him because he asked me to change our house aspirations for better cohesion with the bloc. So something to keep an eye on. We are currently at a decent level of acceptance between Yamato and Mitsuba. So hopefully we can keep that going. Something I'm very curious about when we actually eventually get this governorship as well is what the split will look like between upgrading the manor and upgrading the actual governorship itself. I know, for example, inside the admin realm over in the Byzantine Empire, which I get lost trying to find because of the new map size, I know that in the Byzantine Empire when playing, it can be beneficial to upgrade the governorship because it essentially gives you influence, but is of course risky because there is no guarantee that what you are building will remain in your dynasty as time progresses. So we're still looking good, and anything we gain is only really a benefit, but especially as we get near the second half / the final quarter of Corban's life, we really want to also make sure we are set up not just to sort of gain power, but to retain it. Look at this, Hannah comes of age. This is our eldest child and daughter, 16 years of age. She appears to have followed very much in her father's footsteps with 19 martial. She's wrathful, diligent, ambitious, a skilled tactician, and an aggressive attacker. You are not to be messed with. Let's actually see if we can find a decent spouse for Hannah here. We ideally want a marriage that helps us out politically, but also gives Hannah a decent chance to actually like have some children and members that could end up in positions of power. This is really the first time we're officially sort of seeing if we can get a proper link with another house. What makes the most sense here? There is a partial argument to wait until we actually are a governor. People may be more interested in actually marrying our daughter in that case, and seeing as though Yoshitada is going to be 100 soon, I'm happy to wait at least until that comes through. Doesn't really make sense aligning ourselves with a family that will accept us for now, when we may only be a few years away from inheriting Chikuzen when Yoshitada dies, and then simply gaining another governorship just by asking the emperor. Speaking of nobility, we have a new nobility, the Nakayama family. Interesting, okay. And another lifestyle perk inside of stewardship. Do we want centralization? Development growth in realm capital? I don't really think that's massive for us. I'll take Taxman. It's a little bit early, but again, really sort of already dipping into the perks and decisions that will primarily help us when we already are a governor, before we even are one. But again, hopefully Yoshitada will die soon. Let's make sure that we are still first in line. Yes, we are. Incredible. This is interesting. I can have my wife teach my bishop something. Let's do that. He'll gain studying learning for 15 years, making him a slightly bit better, which should work because we don't have the ability to actually change him. So improving him, I think, makes the most sense. Also, would be a little difficult to come across another insular person in Japan at the moment anyway. And nose for profit. While out on a leisurely stroll, the cry of a particular merchant stands out from the regular hustle and bustle of the street. Greetings, my lord. I have an exquisite assortment of wares if my lord has the coin. As I peer at the myriad of goods in the stall, I can hear Motozone murmur. The etchings on that piece must be real and quite valuable too. He glances at me with a triumphant smile. So 60% chance we lose 10 gold and gain 50 stewardship. Otherwise, we lose 20 gold. Are you lying to me, Motozone? No, you are not. Well done, my friend. We get the lucky Yamato coin. Oh, very nice. Stewardship per stress level +1, +2% domain taxes, and +5% stewardship lifestyle experience. Motazone, you have just been a legend the whole run. Once we're past the next 2 stalls, Motazone beams at me. Yes, quite good indeed. I couldn't have done it much better myself. He casually eyes the bauble in the stall next to us and shoots me an anticipating side glance. Maybe I could teach you a couple of things of strategy. 63% chance we reminisce about bartering, and Motazone even gains bartering strategies for 5 years. Absolutely. Successful persuasion. Incredible. Oh, incredible. Kaito here is actually increasing his prowess and has gained the trade Traveler, which is great to see. We do have some more factions firing here, but they're nice and weak for now. Chaos may be something that suits us in the future, but for now, we kind of want stability. It's a little bit easier for us at the moment to kind of navigate who's going to be in what positions of power and who to align ourselves with during this stable period. We have enough space for the Yamato coin as well. That's it for trinkets. We do want to try and fill out the rest of these inventory artifact slots as well, and actually do it, because I'm sort of known for every episode saying, we need to get more artifacts, and then just never filling it. Oh, another son. There can only be one name for this son after our good friend Motozane. I think I've been saying Motozone, by the way. I've probably been saying multiple things, but regardless, I am naming you after my good friend who saved my life. I think it's only right and proper. We will educate you as well, because why not? Just to make sure, we are educating you, right? Yes, I am his current ward. Okay, phenomenal. So interestingly, a lot of the rest of these actual plots require a different house aspiration to build. What I am curious about, though, is that, like, I know that Family Archive required, I believe, the current one we have, which is Service, but I do wonder if we rotate away, does that disable the Family Archive, or it's just about being of that aspiration when you build it? Because if it's about being that when you build it, then the best thing to do would be to try and rotate through your aspirations and build something different each time. But I suppose in the meantime, we could go for something else. I mean, the T plot could be interesting. A medium boost to elderly health. Now, I feel like in a feudal realm, this can be a nightmarish, because what ends up happening is you're 90, you give the maximum amount of time to have too many children, and for the good children you have to mess themselves up. However, living till a later age in an admin realm could be very beneficial for raking in the influence and sort of just before you die, having a lot of time to really cross all of your T's and dot all of your I's. So you know what? I think I will do this. Bit of income, bit of prestige, a tiny boost initially, and also gives us the ability to do a tea ceremony to reduce our stress. So you know what? Let's get that going. I also love that because we stack so much of the building reduction cost and time modifiers that we're going to build this in about 3 weeks. Returning home from an outing with Kaito, we come across an impoverished man begging for water from any who will grant him succor. How dare he turn his eyes upon us? Kaito bursts out indignantly, appalled by the man's desperate impotence. You see, this is what happens. This is what happens. Not too long ago, your father practically was that man on the side of the road, Kaito. I can say, good, his ilk are not worth your consideration, and he'll keep the trait arrogant. I can say, imagine what it would be like if you were in his place, or the misery of others is no concern of ours. Listen, I know this would technically give us stress, but I feel like Corban lived a pretty compassionate life for the most part. And I really don't think, given the story and our life, I cannot see any world, regardless almost of Corban's personality, where it wouldn't annoy him for his son to say that about someone in a lower position when Corban was a nobody when he arrived here. So you will lose the trait arrogant and gain the trait compassionate, and I will hear nothing more of it. What is this? Please, Corban, you work too much. It's like this scheme is consuming you, moans my friend Takeyoshi for what feels like the 100th time. I have been diligent of late. There's no denying that, but no more than necessary, surely. The haggard look of worry across Takeyoshi's face tells me that may not be the case. So we could essentially slow down our scheme here, and Fujiwara would gain opinion of us. A true friend wouldn't ask that and get a critical stress break. Or I could say the only way out is through, and the expand power base gains unfeeling. Maximum success chance plus 5%. How is that a bad thing? Oh, he loses 20 opinion of us. That's fine, honestly. The only way out is through Takeyoshi. You know what? Maybe let's perform a tea ceremony right now before we get a level 1 stress break. Oh, okay. I thought it might actually have like an event window, but I just simply drink tea, lose stress, and Takayoshi gain an inspiration. Phenomenal. Could petition the Kanpaku. Could ask for something. Not really sure what we would ask for, though, and I don't know if it's the best use of 50 influence. Oh, this is interesting, though. We could always petition to actually be allowed to transition to Soryo without it being seen as a crime. So, at a very, very basic level, that would basically be like, we get the governorships we want under our control, then ask to be a Soryo, and then if agreed, we remain vassals, but essentially feudal vassals rather than the current admin ones that we have. That is interesting. Again, no real point in doing it when we don't even have land yet, but could be very useful in the future. Good to know it's here. Out of curiosity, if we petition the actual Tenno, like the actual ceremonial monarch, anything different there? Ooh, Kanpaku endorsement, bolster your candidate score, bolster your candidate score for house advancement. Support the governorship candidate score, members of your house. A royal marriage into the ceremonial house, or acknowledge dignity to curry prestige. It would be interesting if we could get even our daughter to marry into the noble house. Although I don't even know if there is anyone available inside of the Emoto actual dynasty at the moment that could marry. If I go age, and then let's say around like the 19, well, there is Nobumasa here. You're not currently married to anybody. Right now, you won't accept it all because ceremonial level of splendor. I think even if I petition the Tenyo, he would still reject this. But that's fine. That's fine. These are all great to know that they are there because they are potential ways around future problems we might have otherwise encountered and not really know how to navigate through it. Yoshitada has officially done it. He is now 100 years of age and still looking good. Trying to imagine, like, when we're in control of Chikuzen here, is there anything around us that we would also like to take? Chikuzen is very much the main one. Could also take Buzen, though, or Buzen. Could I just ask you to give that to me? Kuni of Buzen. I can ask. It's 60%. What's the main takeaways here? Heir governor efficiency and heir belongs to powerful family. De jure size of governorship -2. Huh. Okay. Levy desertions due to Arzaborai's poor skill. Yeah, Chikanaga is unfortunately likely feeling the effects of age here and isn't really the man that he once was. But honestly, levy diversion doesn't really bother us. We have just 3 soldiers and no army, so it's going to be fine. We are at 5 advantages with our expand power base scheme, but no real rush on this scheme, to be honest. Happy to give it a few more months and then trigger it at 95%, and then maybe it could come in handy when we're trying to actually promote ourselves into a position elsewhere. In the meantime, may as well continue to upgrade everything else that we have here. I suppose no harm in getting extra governor efficiency and stewardship per level of influence, as well as some more domicile influence income. So we'll upgrade the archive, why not? I will have some of my younger daughters just actually be tutored by my wife for the time being. I think that makes the most sense. I'm also going to upgrade the family workshop again. It's 60 gold, but it's even more gold influence, as well as making everything cheaper and faster once again. Our scheme is at 95%. We will execute this, seize the moment, expand power base success. The Mitsuba family name now carries more weight in the Empire of Japan, at least for me. Bribes, favors, donations, placing the right person in the right position. No tool was left unused. My reserves of influence deepen along my political capabilities. This is just the beginning, and we have gained expanded power base for 10 plus years with a plus 20% investment capacity. Listen, my friend, you've got to retire. You have got to retire. You are 101. Please. Oh my word. Why? Just make him retire. He's 101. I suppose, though, we are in Japan, right? You got to respect your elder. So him being 101 as infirm is no reason why he should be taken out of power. I think someone said in the comment previously that this guy must have like a level 6 tea garden in his estate or something, because how is he doing this? He does, look, tea plot. It is level 1 though. I think it's just the fact that he's whole of body with iron constitution as well. It's just crazy good. Oh, it happened. Oh my word, it happened. We've inherited the Kuni of Chikuzen from Yoshitada. He died at 101. With the passing of Kikuchi Yoshitada, who died of old age, it was announced the governance of the Chikuzen Kuni now falls to me. Long nights of lobbying and favor chasing have at last paid off. I am told my selection as the new Kikuchi was all but a foregone conclusion. Having received my regalia and taking the oaths of office, I can at last move my provincial seat at Daizafu and begin my tenure proper. There is no time to waste. Oh my god, we have land. Breathe it in, people. Breathe it in. 6.5 in tax. So this is phenomenal. There's little we can do currently, to be honest, but I am slightly worried about control and popular opinion. Let's actually move our manor for the first time down to Daizafu here for 40 gold. That will at least make sure that any bonuses we're getting from our manor about being in the same barony will now apply. And we will now begin to start raking in the gold. We have also, of course, picked up the... Where is it? We should have the governor trait somewhere. There it is, Kikuchi. We cannot mentor our son in governance until he is 12, however, but we can do the martial drill. So let's do that, see if we can give him rough terrain expert, just in case. Kaito looks bored after looking at the military tactics on the maps for hours by now. I get up and throw him a sparring sword and shout, let's go outside. First direct hit to the body wins. We enter a nearby grove. The fight drags on for a while as we can't reach each other between the branches. Eventually, I spot a patch of rough ground behind Kaito. I push him into the rocky hills with a jagged field advantage. My movement is too fast and unpredictable. He has nowhere to hide and I land an easy hit. I can say maybe next time and we've lost opinion of each other and I've gained some stress, or I can force him to repeat it and I'll gain some dread and spend prestige, but he will gain the trait, but he'll hate us even more for it. You know what? Maybe next time. You're not that martially inclined. I'm not going to force it on you. You are charming and compassionate. You are clearly meant to be more of a diplomat. Look at this, Lady Kimiko, major architectural expertise, things we love to see. We do technically have our first vassal as well, which is the actual ruler of this city holding, Gunji Sano Tsunane of Hakata, who's actually intelligent. Doesn't seem to have an heir either. Currently will be actually going straight back to the Emperor. I think I will try and sway you, actually. You are going to be quite important to keep on side. Out of curiosity, you wouldn't convert to insularism, would you? Oof, even with my influence, you don't really want to do that. Okay, now that we have a governorship, is there anybody better willing to marry my daughter? That's the big question here. I think I might marry her over to Hasakawa Hiromu here of the Hasakara family. Nothing too special about him, but his father does have a governorship as well as 656 troops. So I think for that reason, we will actually go for this. Another stewardship perk has become available. I suppose we could go for development growth now. If we kind of hold on to Daizafu and just really build it up even more, that could be a great power base. Let's also get our council working here. Let's increase the county control. Collect taxes, I think, is fine for now. Do we want domestic or foreign affairs? You're only 12. Just stay on foreign. I think you're better on foreign than messing something up internal. And I suppose if we're not going to convert to Shintoism, the only thing left to do is to convert it instead to insularism. I would like to sort of make my own faith before doing that, rather than, like, vows of poverty is, you know, kind of non-ideal, but we don't really have the 4,000 piety to be making our own religion just yet. But you know what? I think I'll do it. Let us try and convert the faith in this county over. I don't think... There's the alliance from the marriage. Huge. I don't think that any of the other governors or the emperor himself, the ruling regent, I should say, will have an issue with this. At least I don't think that they'll do like a holy war necessarily. We consider them evil. They consider us hostile. So hostile holy wars can be waged. Same with evil. But we dislike them far more than they dislike us. Let's see how this goes. Interestingly as well, converting the faith is not as cheap as it was before. The county will lose 1 development plus 1 development for every 10 existing. It's currently at 11, so it's going to lose 2 development. And then every minority vassal will lose 20 opinion of me for 10 years. So that mayor that we have here is going to lose another 10 opinion of us and already isn't the biggest fan. Oh, look at this. Became best friends. Me and Chikanaga formed a strong bond of friendship after vehemently supporting each other's interest in the ruling regent's court. That's phenomenal. We bonded while competing a contract to sustain an adventuring camp. Yes, we did. That's incredible. Best friends at 64. Now I'm going to get a stress break when he dies. I just realized, though, I can just revoke this man's appointment. We're in admin. No one's going to stop me from just taking this off of him. Let's do that. I see no choice but to bow your decision to strip me of the Kori of Hakata. Yeah, you're damn right. I should have checked the power of your house first, though, but it is literally just you, so I am fine to be quarreling with you. Just so. Oh my word, because we hold that directly now as well, that's another 11 gold for a total of 25 gold per month. Oh my word. And then lastly, we have a temple holding in the north, but that is going to be ruled by our current bishop, which is totally fine. Councillor left court. Takayoshi just bounced. Okay, fair enough. We'll take someone else then. Oof, nobody really fantastic though. Nobutaka, you're in. I'm also very, very concerned about the fact that because we don't have the ability to revoke or select our own bishop, if the Pope just sends us a really bad one, it could make it a nightmare to convert Japan over. We are at the whim of the Pope here. So with control of both of these holdings, we now are at 471 levies. We probably do want to save up some gold and get a men-at-arms going just for that extra security. We also probably don't want to hold Hakata permanently ourselves. I'm happy to hold on to it for now to really just kind of boost our gold income. But I think eventually we should possibly hand this off over to our son, get him nice and strong, get him a governorship early, and then use our actual second domain holding for another sort of whole county level governorship rather than just holding things inside of our own realm. It's inefficient in the long term for power, but very efficient for tax. So for now, I'm happy to hold on to this. Like, this must ultimately be one of the richest places in Japan as well. Like, what is the tax looking like in the capital? Like, in the capital, their tax is like 4.96. Whereas over here for me, because this is the port, I'm at like 7.0. And then over here, 11 from the Hakata port. Like, this is incredible. We have essentially gone from a wandering Irishman in Japan to controlling one of the choke points of trade. To get our large mansion upgrade to level 3, we do need manorialism, however. So even our current Yamato culture is behind on that. Where exactly is manorialism? I think, is it the next one that manorialism is in? Yes, it is. It's actually the next era. So quite a while until our base manor will get upgraded. So we're going to be focusing on everything else around that for now. May as well upgrade our actual T field to a small T field as well. We are going to be absolutely rolling in gold soon. First time we've got a notification telling us we can declare war on someone before. Let's maybe not do that though. Consolidate land under heaven. I don't know why we would have access to that, but no, we're okay. We're okay. Thank you, though. Like, I wonder, out of curiosity, could we try and work towards actually creating the kingdom of Sakushi here and then actually control that as like a king underneath the emperor, and then maybe from there try and become a Soryo, make the kingdom feudal, and then either push north or seize control of Japan from there. That's kind of where, I'm not saying that's our goal, but that's kind of where my mind is as we start to progress through this. Greetings, Kikuchi, Mitsuba, Corban of Chikuzen. I regret to inform you you are breaking an imperative rule. Your garden contains far too many yellow flowers. For this violation, you are ordered to make a sizable donation to your Lee's Kampaku Masamochi's coffers. 90 gold! See, this is where the ruling region gets his gold. We let someone else be the governor of the port in the south, but then we just come up with absolute random charges every now and then. However, if we get obedient subject, it does increase our control growth, which is not bad. And he gains some opinion of us. I could try the diplomacy challenge, then we could get ordered to pay anyway, or I just disobey. You know what? As he wishes. We'll give him the 90 gold, we'll get our control growth, and we'll have him gain some opinion of us. Everything we do, good or bad, is resting on the fact that the ruling regent likes us. Otherwise, he could make our life a nightmare. Accusations of witchcraft. Would you look at this, folks? Even when we're landed, we can't avoid killing witches. Bloodstained cloth, crow's feathers, strange-smelling concoctions. This is the evidence presented to me by a group of villagers from Chikuzen as proof that Akiko has been practicing witchcraft in her hut on the outskirts of their village. The villagers claim her evil works must be the cause of their bad weather and are calling for her execution. I will gain some stress because I'm just, but this will satisfy the peasants and give us 100 piety. Since we're trying to convert them all over to insularism, we do kind of need them on side. Wouldn't be the first witch that we killed. She must burn for her crimes against God. Meanwhile, our wife watches on, just sort of, oh, well, watches on just before giving birth, conscious of the fact that she is also a witch. Another son. We will name our new son Chikunaga after our best friend Chikunaga, who was with us since the beginning. I think it's only right to keep their legacy alive. We couldn't really shower them in gifts, gold, and titles that much before their untimely... What is this? A Miraculous Healing governance issue has appeared in Chikuzen. It's a level 3 governance issue. My judgment as governor is needed. A local invalid receives many donations of relics and valuables, and each time claims be restored to health by divine grace. Almsgivers grow increasingly ill-amused. So we absolutely will do this for the trait experience in Governor trait. We could possibly gain gold, influence, prestige, piety, as well as improvements to our counties or holdings. Potential failures, we would lose prestige or influence. Let us take this contract. An interesting case and a most unusual individual are brought before me for judgment. This man, Machinao, is accused of being a false invalid, a huckster who makes a living hoodwinking the faithful. He takes a bite of an apple charmingly as the donated relics are laid out before me. Witnesses attest to seeing this blind man by the stoop of their abbeys, appealing to their good natures. He warms the hearts of congregations by miraculously healed again and again, but only after receiving coins or holy items. I can say hand the relics back and I can forget this ever happened, or God works in mysterious ways. Oh, of course, he's actually insular. He's from our religion. You know what? God works in mysterious ways, folks. I mean, we are coming close to the ability to convert to Shinto as well. So do let me know in the comments what you think makes more sense. Do we try and hold on to insularism, potentially to our detriment? Or do we just convert over to Shintoism the same way we converted our culture when needs demanded it? Because as we grow in the governorships that we are holding, and as we try and get our sons and daughters into positions of power, them being a different religion is going to cause some strife. The good news, though, is that we should be able to keep control on it like we have done here, with Chikunaga increasing the overall control and that event giving us satisfied peasants. Popular opinion and control is looking a hell of a lot nicer. Fate, though, will remain an issue until we can sort that out. After feeling a confusing flurry of questions from Kaito, I was able to get to the root of the issue. He took note of the fact that some of our servants eat much better than others. Despite Kaito's queries, he seems unbothered by the general state of things, almost as if more interested in confirming some conclusion he had already reached internally. The world is unequal, you should not expect otherwise. He keeps the trait cynical, loses cynical for just, or loses cynical for temperate. Okay, here's the thing. We are just, granted, and that has dictated many of our decisions. However, I would also say it's fairly reasonable to assume that Corban would likely also be quite cynical given what he has seen on the road. I think it'll make an interesting mix. I think he is both compassionate in that he is merciful and sympathetic, but equally trust the self-interest of others above all else, which seems like a fairly healthy mix, to be honest with you. Something I am curious about as well is, rather than just upgrading what's here, is there anything we would rather build instead in Daizafu here for those bonuses that we are getting, which again is increase to our holding taxes and development, as well as building construction time and control growth. Obviously, watermills or windmills would be phenomenal, but we do not have those unlocked yet. Blacksmiths for holding taxes and stationment and arms damage could be quite good. Is there anything else? I mean, we could just go cattle pastures just for straight gold. I think blacksmiths for later on really good holding taxes, stationment arms damage, and toughness, as well as levy reinforcement rate could be massive. And I think it's better than Hunter's Lodges, which is really... I mean, men-at-arms maintenance being cheaper isn't bad, but I don't know if we have to worry that much about getting raided just yet. Although maybe later on, I don't really know what it's like to play in Japan. Like, I don't know if raiders are eventually going to show up from somewhere or not. I think the hunting lodges would be a nice to have, but I think I will actually instead go for the blacksmiths. We will replace those. We'll likely keep the crop fields for the actual tax and supply limit, as well as everything else that we kind of get later on down here. Potentially, we'll review that as it gets there, and I don't think We actually, wait, I do not hold the Daizafu title. Oh, right, this is the duchy building. Right. And it's actually a duchy of 4 counties. So I would need at least 2 more. I was going to look into potentially changing our government type from standard to industrial. Industrial would essentially mean that we would actually spend even more in tax up to the liege, but it would make things cheaper and they would build faster, as well as increasing our development in our holding. I don't know if that's worth it though. For some reason in my mind, I imagine this being us paying less in tax, not more, but I think we're happy with standard, at least in Daizafu here, if that's the case. Having a look at Hakata Port then, this is similarly mainly just a +2 base to our overall tax. There's then Carver's Guild and even more crop fields over here as well, which I'm okay with. We don't need to go crazy fully revamping the economy, but do want to make sure we have the most optimal setup in the actual capital here. To be fair as well, I do think a big part of the tax we're getting is just my stewardship. Like that's a +32% that we're getting there. And our governor efficiency is +50%. So outside of what is built here, we are also kind of getting the maximum amount of juice for the squeeze given our stats. Our hook on Lady Kyoko will soon expire. This is our other wife. You know what? I think I actually will demand your conversion then over to insularism. Here we go. Thank you very much. I think we'll also ask our wife at this point to become our religion as well, just for some sort of congruency within the house. I mean, she's still going to practice being a witch in secret and maybe have a sacred faith as well. But at least on the surface, we're all united as insular. I'm not overly worried about myself being insular. I feel like I can manage while playing that way. I do worry, though, about trying to set my son, for example. Like, imagine Kaito here is, like, 19, and I set him up in a governorship over here. I feel like he could get targeted being insular. Like, it's going to be a big penalty debuff to those around him as well as his liege. But at the same time, it's a fine balance. I'm happy for that to just be part of the difficulty curve of this run. Let's get a matcha factory going on in our small tea field here for even more domicile income and prestige. So I'll get that done in 2 days, no problem at all. And then are we basically done then? Because everything is at level 2 now. And we can't actually upgrade our mansion to level 3 until we get manorialism. So I think until then, we're kind of just going to be doing the like internal upgrades here, which I'm fine with. And then from there, oh, Muniori. That is such a shame. I did name one of my kids Muniori, didn't I? No, that was it's Motozone and Chikanaga. Okay, if I have another son, I will name him Muniori after you, my friend. That is a shame, though. A legend has fallen today. It does mean we need a new spy master. And there's no one really fantastic. We could put our daughter in there. She's kind of poor, but no one's really great either. I think I'd prefer my daughter. Someone doesn't even really like me. So yeah, let's go with that. Although, why are you still here? Oh, you're just betrothed. I didn't even check this guy's age. He was only 13 at the time. Fair enough. That's all right. The alliance still stands. Good news. The ruling region's hook on us has expired. So that means that we shouldn't get any crazy requests coming in at least. I think we still have ours on his though. Yeah, we do actually. So that could be something that we want to do. Could request a core position, but there's none available evidently. He already would accept declaring me to be his regent. Don't really think that's worth it though, because we're kind of the same age. Something really bad would have to happen to him. The other thing I think I will do is start a sway scheme against the actual ruling region to see if I can get him to 100. Because what I would really like for him is use a request retirement, for example, on this man here in the Kuni of Bungo. Use a hook and then an influence. If I could get this percentage higher, and then for just 50 influence, request the retirement of this man and get myself in line to then inherit it, we would then have 2 pretty sizable counties within this duchy under our control. I could then hand off the actual city beneath me to someone else, or maybe my son in the future. But I think 36% is a bit too low to try for the time being. Out of curiosity, though, if I was to influence the candidacy myself, how much to get myself first in line? Oh, 715. Never mind, we have some more work to do here. Ah, yes, this is what I was talking about earlier. Because I built the actual blacksmith in Daizafu here, I did gain some influence as well as some trait experience now. Not a lot, to be fair, but some at least for fulfilling the duties of a governor by actually investing in my holding rather than my manor. But to be honest, that's all we really can do at this point with gold, because the manor is maxed out until we get manorialism. I will continue to upgrade the farms and fields here. here, as that both gives more tax percentage in the county as well as the holding, which is also what our special building is giving us. So just kind of stacking those together should be huge. I also need a guardian for my second in line son. Morizane, you have not failed me this far. Will you look after my second in line for me, please? Also make Morizane our master of the hunt here, because why not? Our held position as court gardener for the actual ruling regent actually covers all of our monthly salaries right now anyway. Not that it's that much of an issue with our new income. I am also going to recruit for a court position, see if we can find a gardener. Nagayori here. He's already insular as well. Things you love to see. You go, my friend. Give me that development and guest opinion. Now this would be huge, actually, if we were to found a insular holy order within Japan. That is actually a major reason to remain insular, I think. But again, it could become a brick wall later on with what we're trying to do. I have no idea. It appears as though House Saga here is now considered a powerful family once again. I think they were before and then possibly lost it. Out of curiosity, where are we up to now? 17th. 17th, not bad at all. I think we are very close to being in the top 10, to be honest. I also just noticed it's not that big of a holding, but behind us here, we do have a man that we could use our hook on here to, it's a 50-50, potentially get him to retire. And it's not that expensive to get us in the lead either. Hold on, governors cannot be granted additional titles of their highest held tier. Oh, that changes everything then. That changes everything. I can't actually put myself in line for a different governorship when I already am a governor. It'll have to be my son. Okay, so then it does actually make sense for me to hold a county within my governorship and then try and grant my son one in his. But hold on a minute then. How the hell am I going to gain momentum over generations? So this actually takes us to a core question of how we want to proceed from this point. The fact that I can't just rinse and repeat what I've done in Daizafu here changes things pretty dramatically. My goal was to essentially hoard a bunch of governorships and then hand them out to my family piecemeal and essentially skyrocket our actual house strength. However, that's not going to work if I can't hold more than one governorship. The best I can do is try and position my sons and daughters into actual positions of power and get them in control of governorships, but I'm still then pretty powerless in their ability to maintain those governorships or ensure that they are actually inherited then again into my actual family. So I think instead what we might have to actually do is leave the Yamato block and actually form a block of our own. The reason for that is that if we look at the noble families here and look at the most powerful ones, we'll actually see that the size of the block they are leading is actually generally a more important factor for their overall score than the number of held governorships that they have. House Hokkei here is a bit of an exception, but for the rest, you'll see it's really the size of their block, which is where their power comes from. House Saga, for example, is almost identical to us in terms of where they get their strength from. The only core difference is they simply have more living house members in the realm. So I think if we want to continue to play this politically, we're going to have to form our own block, try and get people into that, build up our cohesion, and then try and challenge the Yamato family through politics. There is an alternative path, which is to actually establish a Soryo fief. However, this doesn't just really take the handcuffs off and free us fully. First of all, we would need permission from the actual ruling regent to do this without it being considered a crime and just having him revoke the title or having everyone declare war on us. Secondly, because that would then be feudal, we would lose the ability to hold on to Hakata, so that's 12 direct gold gone. On top of that, we would lose the 30% from the Ritsuryo bonus and the modified by plus 50% from governor efficiency, as we would no longer be a governor, but rather just an actual sort of feudal lord. And that would be a pretty big problem. Not to mention that while it would theoretically make going to war easier if we wanted to, say, go to war with our neighbor here. We wouldn't just have to fight his 597, but the entire Yamato bloc. That is really where the blocs get their strength from, and I think us trying to gain control of Japan without leading a powerful one is just simply not going to happen. I think that's where our focus has to go next. Do let me know what you think of that plan, however. I was really hoping to get a nice sort of quick and fast snowball going here, but I think with how Japan is designed, it really wants you to be small, rely on leading your bloc and playing the politics game, and I think that while we are playing in this part of the world and that's how it's designed, I think that makes the most sense for how we progress forward. But if any of you have any crazy ideas, let me know down in the comments below, and do let me know if you think holding on to insularism all the while and trying to convert everyone to that would also make sense. This could become another roadblock the same way culture did with building up our house Manor if it ends up restricting people wanting to join our newly formed house block, but if I can work around it, I will. But as always, really value your opinions down in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. A massive shout out to all of our channel members on the council: Korivo, Harambe Son, Lord Hammersey, and Comrade Doggo. If you would like to support the channel, click that join button down below, and I will see you all in the next video.